Okay, it's recording now. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to EECPA Lyon, and today we are having Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa and Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. We are going to ask him some questions with our journalists.
Hi everyone, I'm Thomas Dubois from ICPR Media. Thanks for receiving me and thanks Mr. Mandela to be there. First question
Hello.
I would like to ask you, what was the hardest thing you've been through when you were in jail?
The living conditions were catastrophic. Racism was obviously important in prison. Robben Island was the worst place I've lived in. Political prisoners were separated from common criminals, and we have even fewer rights, but I stayed strong, and today I'm here in front of you.
Do you think that your imprisonment was an injustice, was unfair?
I was convicted after being accused of sabotage and conspiracy against those responsible for apartheid. Yes, obviously that was right. But the situation was absolutely dreadful in our country, and I have no regrets about that.
Alright. Did you imagine, when you were detained, becoming one day the president of your country?
Every day, every minute, I was sure the future would be better. I always think that my position was right, and this is what carried me through my imprisonment.
If there is one thing you could change in your life, what would it be?
I would have remained peaceful in my struggle, and I would have approached Desmond Tutu to speak with one voice in the name of freedom in South Africa.
Thank you.
What is your biggest pride about your struggle?
My greatest pride is to have succeeded in bringing together and reducing inequalities between white and black people in the country.
What do you think about you have brought to Africa for your fight?
I think that through my fight, I brought something essential to the African continent. This thing is the ability to fight for your rights, but also against the oppressors.
During the rugby finals of 1995 in South Africa, how did you feel when the whole crowd cheered for you in the stadium?
You know, during this final, the crowd was mainly made up with white people. So I felt proud, and I also understood that my fight was not useless, and that meaning that we are managing to reconcile the nation. This is particularly thanks to the sport and the rugby in the country.
And what was your relationship with Frederick William de Klerk?
He has been an important advocate for our cause, and I'm proud to have been able to work with him. He was the one who led the first reforms before me to end apartheid before becoming my vice president, and I will be eternally grateful to him. Why did you neglect the fight against AIDS?
It was a. I can't hear me. You hear me? Okay. It was a difficult stuff. When I got my freedom, there was a huge debate on this question in South Africa. Even scientists disagreed about the cause and the consequences of this terrible pandemic. In my party, the African National Congress, there was a massive opposition to all protection measures and prevention campaigns we could set up. So it wasn't easy, and I think we all took in the country this question too late on the South Africa.
Why did you choose to not representing you to the presidential elections?
As you may have understood, my life was hard, and after all that I have known, I wanted to keep my fight in another way. I am convinced that being elected is not the only way to be useful for people and for the defense of human rights. I think we all experienced that when I was in jail, and I wanted to transform this after my career of president. Also, I considered that there was a good avenue from the political class in the country with my successor, Thabo Mbeki.
What do you think about Mr. Tutu?
I have a deep admiration for Desmond Tutu. Previously, I talked about the fact to fight for people without making politics, and I think he's a perfect representative of that. We always had a true partnership and a true friendship, and we shared the same vision of what should be the society. He was very important to me in my life, and I would never do all that I do, all that I done without him.
Final question. According to you, how is gonna evolve the African continent?
I think that this century is very important for the African continent. Now all countries are independent and frontiers are established. So I think it will be very important for all countries to keep the rights of the people, and also to develop their economic and to stabilize the politic and the republic and democracy everywhere, and also to fight against international crisis and against terrorism and stuff like that.
Thank you for the interview, Mr. Mandela. See you next week on ESCPA Lyon for a brand new interview of an African leader.